Friendly reminder, Planet people, please, no video recording or flash photography, or you may be asked to leave. Attention! The next panel is about to begin. If you'd like to get a better view of our next guests, you may now take any available seats in the reserved section. If you are moving, please don't run and be courteous to your fellow attendees. Thank you. During our presentations, a microphone will be located in the aisle to the right of the stage for questions. When prompted by the moderator, please line up single file. Please have your question ready when approaching the mic, and remember, do not ask for hugs, autographs, kisses, or voicemail message recordings. Reminder, Planet people, please, no video recording or flash photography, or you may be asked to leave.
Yeah, cheer for me, yeah! Hello, Kansas City. Have you guys had a good time so far this weekend? Right on. Well, guys, thank you again so much for choosing to spend your weekend here with us. You could have been anywhere this weekend, and you chose to be right here, and that's why this show is one of the best in the Midwest. So give yourselves a round of applause. This panel, we're going to do things a little out of order. We're going to get our photo right off the top because we have to get them back to their table so you guys can get photos and autographs and all that. So please, without further ado, help me welcome to the stage Chris Bartlett and Katee Sackhoff. Come on up.
Okay.
All right, and come, Chris, come this way.
Okay.
It's Chris Bartlett in the suit, guys.
Okay. Wait. And stop.
Turn
Turn.
that way. 180.
There you go.
180 degrees. Continue
Hi.
turning. There you go. It's perfect. Hi, welcome. This is his backside. If you've ever wondered what 3PO's backside looks like, it looks like this.
It's cuter than mine.
It's not as good as mine. All right.
Am I coming on?
Okay.
All right,
Wait
let's
a
get a photo.
second. Hang on.
Wait, oh.
Who is this imposter?
I am so sorry.
You are clearly an imposter. You're a very handsome one, but yes. What?
Yes,
Oh, yes.
I apologize. That was my fault. Let's get the imposter off our stage.
All right. 3PO, it's very nice to see you. Hey.
All right, guys, let's do our quick
Chris
photo.
Bartlett.
Here's how it's going to work. House lights up. We are all going to face the camera up here.
Oh,
What's your name,
okay.
cameraman?
All right.
We're going to face Steven with the camera.
Okay.
We'll all wave, and then on the count of 3, we'll shout something,
Something?
whatever. If you guys want to pull your phones out, put your lights on your phone so we can have a room full of lighting. That would help as well.
All right.
Look at that. The fireflies are out. If you want to bring the house lights back down on them, that actually might look a little better even.
Cool.
That way we don't see their faces.
Oh,
I kid.
I love
All
that
right.
you guys are here.
All right, here we go, guys. Are you ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. I didn't literally mean say something. All right.
Great.
All right,
this
they're going to...
yours?
That is
yes.
mine,
Okay.
yes. Oh, sorry, you need to get out.
Yeah, let
Oh, you're
the
going to
cameraman
put the couch
down.
We're moving.
You're moving the couch back.
Thank you guys so much for coming to our show. It's
Thank
been
you.
great talking to you, so we'll see you later.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay?
Hi. This is amazing. Like service. Like,
Yes.
next time I need to
Here you go.
sweep the floors, I will call you
You're
guys.
welcome.
Whoa.
Move my furniture.
Whoa.
All right. So again, thank you guys for joining us
Sunk
here. in
right
Kansas
in.
Thank you.
The way this is going to work, guys, it is a Q&A, which means you guys get to ask questions. They get to give you answers. The answers they don't know, they'll make up. You'll never know the difference. It'll be on the internet in like an hour, Katee said. No. Anyway, so there's a microphone right over here on this side. Can we get a spot on it? There it is, beautifully. Thank you.
Wait,
So
can I ask a question?
we will in a minute.
Okay.
Let's prompt the crowd.
I'm so excited.
I know. Chill out. Is this the real Chris Bartlett with us? Okay.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to get up and move to the microphone, that is there for you guys to ask questions. We'll get through as many of your questions as we can in the short time we have together. If you have mobility issues, if that thing's way too intimidating, I will bring a microphone to you if you just flag me down. So if you... Yeah, it's worse. Trust me. You're better off at that microphone. Yes. But if you want to participate, we want you to be able to participate. Is the long and short of it. So, yes, as they are moving around, as they're making their way, Chris, you had a question.
Oh, yeah, it's a question for Katee.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. What was the pinchiest part of your costume? I mean, was there a pinchy part?
I feel like this is leading to something.
So the funny answer is the zipper that they put so I could go to the bathroom in my suit.
Wait, you get a zipper?
So y'all, it was a really, really great idea because I was in one piece. And so it was a really great idea. They thought, you know what, she could just go to the bathroom. Have you guys heard of a shiwi?
Oh, we don't
Yeah.
use that kind of language.
Okay, so FYI, like if you really have to go to the bathroom, they don't work. Because you...
It's like, is it a volume issue? Is it like
It's a volume and
Okay.
speed issue, yes.
Okay.
Yes, it would be like if you had like a tiny funnel and went to fill it up at the gas station and just were like trying to shoot. It'd come back on you, right?
This is way more graphic than I was asking.
Aren't you glad you asked?
Yeah, I am, actually.
I'm like, you open up this can
Yes,
of worms.
right.
So I did it once and then never did it again.
Did what?
Peed on myself.
Oh, okay. Well, I have in related news.
Oh.
Yes.
What's
Yes.
the pinchiest part of your suit?
Well, since we're not talking about pinching anymore, I would recommend not having the lobster ravioli right before going back into suit. So it takes like 25 minutes to put on the suit. And then if you ate the lobster ravioli at Crafty, it's been sitting out for a while. And then you jump in the suit, and then you walk all the way back to set. You know, all these people, these important people are waiting there. And then your stomach starts going like, you know? And I gotta go like, I think I'm having a medical emergency. There's no zipper or shiwi or whatever you're talking about. It's like, you know, I need a can opener. Right. In a hurry. So.
Well, that's more than y'all
3PO
wanted
knows.
to know. Yes.
3PO knows what I'm talking about.
We're going to talk about bodily fluid.
Aren't you glad you came?
Well, let's
Yes.
see what our folks on the floor have for us. It won't top that, I hope. Please, don't top that. Don't try to top that. What is your name, dear?
Autumn.
Autumn. What is your question?
So, in one of the seasons of Mandalorian, the Mandalorian is given the dark saber, but this question has been lingering in my mind. Is the dark saber more powerful than the lightsaber, or are they equally matched?
I was going to say, yeah. Who exactly
That
appears
is not a
qualified
question
to
for
answer
me.
that question?
Do you know? Like, are you asking which one would win?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I think the truth of that answer actually lies in the wielder of the weapon.
Right.
And, you know, I feel like with the proper owner of said weapon, it is more powerful. So I feel like if Bo had the darksaber and, thank you, and was fighting a Jedi, which he probably would not do, you guys. Not anymore. Like, maybe at some point, but, like, not anymore. And they were the proper owner of said lightsaber, it'd be pretty even. But if, like, Din Djarin picked up a lightsaber and fought Bo, who had the darksaber, I think the darksaber would be more powerful. So I think it's a movable answer.
That's a totally unbiased answer as well.
Well, there is evidence of that.
Right, yes.
He was
We see him
having a
struggling
hard
with-
time,
yeah.
right? And you didn't.
And we've seen lightsabers and the darksaber cut through things. So.
Thanks for the question. Hello.
Hi,
What is your name?
my name's Tabitha.
Hi, Tabitha.
And hi. I've been a big fan of Battlestar Galactica forever. I'm old, so the original. And when you played Starbuck, I love the fact that they changed it, and it wasn't a male, it was a female. But you play very strong female characters, like in Longmire and everything. But what is one of your favorite strong female characters that you've played?
Oh my Lord. So I feel like, God, every character I've played, I think, has strengths and weaknesses. I think that, there are the physical strengths, the mental strengths. So they're all so different. Now that I'm a mom, I feel like that is like the hardest job in the world. And like that takes so much strength to be a dad too. I'm not.
Well, I
like,
mean, as a dad, you do have it much worse than the rest of us.
So I think that in all honesty, like the mental strength of my character Nico in another life to like leave her daughter, to protect her daughter, is actually probably the strongest thing that I've portrayed.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's a good question and a good answer. Hi, what's your name?
My name is Michelle.
Hello.
Hi, my question is for Katee as well.
Uh-huh.
While I became a fan of you through Battlestar Galactica, of course, one of my favorite portrayals that you do is Vic on Longmire. I've personally been working directly with families for 20 years that lose a child at birth, and your depiction of Vic's miscarriage is one of the best I've ever seen on television. Then and even since. And so my question for you are, what are some of the ways that you prepare for portraying deep emotions like that, knowing it will likely make a profound impact on someone that's experienced it?
Thank you for that, by the way.
Thank you.
And thank you for the work that you do.
It's an honor to do it, honestly.
I think that we don't talk about
Yes.
losses as much
100%.
as we should in our society. I think that sometimes we like to talk about the happy birth, and we don't talk about the children that never come to be, because we lose them. So in a situation like that, I knew the weight of that moment. And so it was something that I was also like acutely aware of. The irony is, at that point in my life, I didn't know that I couldn't carry my own children. But what I did know was that I always wanted to be a mom. And I was 38 years old when I portrayed that scene. And I knew I was running out of time. And that, while not the same thing, was such a profound loss to sort of come to terms with this. Like, it may not be in the cards for me, and I'm gonna have to find a way to be okay with that. So that's what I held on to for that.
So pulling from personal.
I was, for that.
Thank you for sharing that, by the way.
Absolutely.
That's a very
Yeah.
vulnerable thing to share, so thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that.
I like to talk about it a lot now, Right after those scenes was when I found out I couldn't carry my own children. And I don't think we talk about that enough either, because there are so many ways to become a parent. If you want to be a parent, you could be a parent to your nieces and nephews. You could be a parent to your own biological children, to children that are not your biological children. If you're a teacher, there are so many different ways to
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely, adoption. There are so many ways to be a parent. And so, it was the start of my journey, so.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Her question and your response about drawing from personal experience, the whole magic of being an actor is seeing what, not you becoming another character, but what you would do in that situation.
Right.
And maybe an actor hasn't been in a particular situation, but you imagine yourself what it would be like and how you would behave. And so that just goes to Katee's expertise as an actor as well. So that's a great question.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hello, what is your name?
Hi, my name is Patrick.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi. So when I was coming today, I asked wife, who am I coming to see is what my wife asks, and I always say, today's Starbuck and 3PO. And then she rolls her eyes because I'm coming to Comic-Con and I'm 40.
Now.
So if there was, is there a role that you feel you really nailed that people wish they would recognize you for?
a role that I nailed. I don't know if we ever feel like we nailed it. You know, it's tough to watch. You know, all of the characters I've played in Star Wars have been masked characters, so it's fun to watch as a fan to see these characters and what they look like and how they move. But I loved Q90 in first season of Mandalorian because, you know, this is my 20th year playing the Golden One, and Q90 was a new character. He was one that he's sinister looking. He's like a bug. I played him like a praying mantis, but I got to fly the ship, and I'm 7 years old in that cockpit. And I'm so excited, and yes, I felt like I totally nailed that because like all the buttons work and all the levers and everything, and I'm playing the sinister bounty hunter. I was just in my total every dream come true. So I mean, yeah, maybe I nailed that. I don't know. I mean, for me in my mind, I did, but yeah, 0.
Right. Oh my Lord. I've had some auditions that I really nailed that I didn't get. You know those moments when you audition for something, you're like, that is the best work I've ever done in my entire life, and then they give it to someone else, and you're like, oh God, I was really not right for that role. I don't know. It's hard to think of something that I feel like I've nailed. I wish that more people had watched a movie I did called Girl Flu. It was like a comedy, if you will, about a mom who has a 13-year-old who's more of an adult than she is. And it's a coming-of-age story for both of them. And it's all about motherhood and, growing up. And it was such a fun movie that no one saw.
Girl flu, like
yeah, Girl Flu. Well,
or like
yes,
influenza.
Because her name was Girl, Girl Flu. Her name is Bird, and she flew, but it's also FLU because it's all about getting her period. So, yeah. Anyway, it was fun. I bet that, yeah, it was fun. I like that movie.
Good question. Yeah. Hello. Step on up. What is your name?
Hi, my name's Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
My question is, as a costume designer myself, what role have you had in the course of your career that had the greatest impact on your performance as an actor or the character you portrayed?
So, I'm sorry, this is...
Aside from the technical issues, like
so
you put on...
Which costume impacted your performance? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you put it on and you felt the character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, the costumes, I started 20 years ago as a cosplayer at conventions, building my own costumes and playing characters, because that's all I thought the closest I'd be able to get to being an actor. And so when I moved into professional acting, the costume really speaks to me and when you put it on, you feel, I don't know, it feels like the energy of the character like infuses in you. You feel, you look at yourself in the mirror and suddenly you feel like sinister or awkward or helpful but not sufficient. It's like all these feelings depending on the costume. So, gosh, the one that spoke to me the most, yeah, I guess I'd have to say Q90, because he's a new model Death Star droid, and I don't know if any of you know that. Dave Filoni revealed that to me. But yeah, he had this sinister look. He has this kind of praying mantis mouth, and standing in the mirror and looking at him just made me, I could just feel the energy that I wanted to fill him with. So yeah, I would say him.
Yeah. I can't think of a character where the wardrobe wasn't the most crucial piece outside of memorization, show up on time, and figure out who your character is. I think makeup as well. Obviously Bo-Katan, that moment when I put her wardrobe on for the first time I was with Filoni, And like we both had like tears in our eyes, and we were just like, oh shit, like it's happened. Because she was, forgive me if I'm incorrect, but I feel like she was the first character that came out of Clone Wars that was like in Mando. Am I wrong? I could be wrong, you guys. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. But it was that moment, like a character that he had created that came into Mando. It was a big moment. But makeup as well. You know, I was in a movie I did called Oculus. My character gets possessed by a mirror and goes insane. Literally, and is like eating plates and scratching her face off. It's really awful. I also play a mom in that movie. And my character goes very demon-like at one point, and we were rehearsing the movements of that, and like this cat-like sort of creature movement that I was doing, and I was concerned I wouldn't be able to do it because I didn't feel it yet. I mean, I knew I had it. I knew I had the movement. I was really excited to do it. But I didn't feel like I was like her yet. The moment they put me in all of this makeup and I had the teeth prosthetics and the blood all over my face and I had these scratches on my chest from just scratching my skin off, that movement was so easy to do because I was inhabiting her completely visually. So it all is like this symbiotic piece where it's all just as important as the next thing. So I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello. What is your name?
Hi. My name's Corey. Oh, this is
Corey.
loud. This question's for Katee, and I have another question afterwards, actually. Katee, which show did you enjoy working on more, The Clone Wars or Mandalorian?
So it's interesting, right? I've answered this question quite a bit because I think that it's people are so curious about this, which I love. So voiceover work for me, especially with a character like Bo-Katan, who from the very beginning was only really ever meant to be in an episode or two. My job as an actor in that moment is to, yes, impart pieces of who I think she's going to be, but ultimately it comes down to who does Dave Filoni want her to be? What does he want her to sound like? How does he want her to come across in her sound, right? So when Mandalorian happened and it was my face, you have a little bit more control, especially going into season 3 when it was so much about Bo. That is where my juices really get going, when I really start to get excited because it requires all of my faculties. However, voiceover work is just as challenging, if not more sometimes, because you have to convey the simplest of emotions with just your voice, which can be really challenging. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And then the other question, if you both had to wield a lightsaber, what color would it be?
Do they make a gold one?
I feel like they should.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, so it would be black with like a little bit of white on the outside.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hello, step on up. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Haley. My question is for Katee. I'm a huge fan. I think there are a lot of like iconic moments from Battlestar that I think about all the time. One of them being, "What do you hear, Starbuck?"
I don't have my glasses on. I was like, what does that say? Please tell
What do you
me.
hear, Starbuck? Nothing but the rain. So it's just one of those things I think about a lot. Is there like a moment or a line as Starbuck or from any of the characters in Battlestar that you still think about today that maybe is something that shaped you or changed you or just is funny or anything?
So for anyone who listens to my podcast, the
Yes.
Sackhoff Show, there's a line that I talked about with Ron Moore. I thought I was legitimately going to get fired because I couldn't say it. I'd never done sci-fi before. I'd never played a tough character before. Up until that point in my career, I was the character everyone wanted to die because she was so annoying. Like stereotypical blonde things. And they hired me to do this. And I was like, oh my God, they're going to figure out that I'm not tough. And it was a scene in the pilot, in the miniseries, where she's flying her Viper. And I had to say, we've got violent decompressions irradiating from the port flight pod. Couldn't say it. Legitimately couldn't say it because I didn't know what it meant. What does it mean? And I learned a really valuable lesson. With sci-fi, you have to understand what you're saying. Even if you don't understand what you're saying, you have to pretend like you do. So you have to dissect dialogue and really understand what you're saying, because then you can say it. It feels real. I had a line in Mandalorian. God love me some Jon Favreau. I had to say, Pirate King Gorian Shard is captaining a Cumulus-class Corsair carrying a complement of snub fighters. You want to know what that means?
Sure.
Yeah. It means that the Pirate King is flying a ship, and it has snub fighters in it. So he's going to open the bottom of it, and they're going to drop out. At least that's what I pretended it meant. I had to visually understand what it meant in order to say it. So we've got violent decompressions irradiating from the port flight pod. That means that the left side of the ship has things coming out of it. That's all I needed to know. But lines like that change you because you can't forget them when you've memorized them so well.
Right.
I have nightmares about
About
Pirate
violent
King.
decompression.
Pirate King Gorian Shard
Thank you
is
so
in
much.
my
Thank you.
nightmares.
Good question.
Yes.
So say we all.
Hi, what is your name?
Hello there. My name is Paige. Oh God, I'm nervous
Hello.
now. My question is for Katee. You first appeared in Star Wars as Bo-Katan in the Clone Wars episode A Friend in Need, and you then made your first live-action appearance in The Heiress in The Mandalorian. You already mentioned a little bit about getting in the suit. I just want to know, what was going on in your mind putting on Bo-Katan's armor and then stepping on set for the first time as Bo-Katan Kryze in person? Take your time.
Well, it's a super easy answer. You know, I grew up watching Star Wars. I grew up watching Sci-Fi with my dad. Like, he raised me on Sci-Fi. The moment I had the luxury of choice in this industry, because people think that you always get to choose the roles that you do, but you don't. It's a job. You take the jobs you can get so you can support yourself. So the moment I had that luxury to say, I don't know if I want to do this one or I want to do this one, I started choosing jobs my dad wanted to watch. Because my dad gave me my love of cinema, like everything. I watched Forbidden Planet when I was 5. Great movie, you should watch it.
It's not a great movie.
Stop it. I was 5.
Okay, if you're 5, it might be a good movie.
But when I put on the suit and I was walking onto set the first time, I literally was thinking to myself, nothing will ever compare to this. Like, this is it. This is the top. Like, I'm going to have to figure out what I want to do with my career after this, because I did it. Like, that's insanity. I just didn't even know how to comprehend that. That's something I dreamed about doing and hoped I'd be allowed to do. I was given the incredible gift and opportunity to actually do. So, I don't know, it was just, I was like pinching myself. I still pinch myself. Did you pinch yourself the first time you walked on set?
No, the costume did that to me. Yeah. But, like you say, every call you get in a new role that you're playing seems like the best best day you've ever had. Yeah. Because you step into a costume, but like, it's so fun to see how you can make this character feel real. It's such a challenge that just feeds me so much. I'm sure both of us. But like you say, yeah, there's some yeah, you take jobs because you want to pay your rent. But gosh, the blessing of being able to play characters that make people feel something, and is such a treasure to have, and such a joy in life.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I imagine, Chris, for you, it must have been a little different because you and Dave built Bo-Katan from scratch, but you're stepping into an iconic character. How much of that was, I just want to do this justice, and how much of it was, I think I can bring something extra to this?
Extra? I don't know.
I can bring myself to this, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I would ride in the car on the way to work playing DVDs to try and match the voice. I would film myself doing movements to see, or watching Anthony Daniels and all of his motions to see how I could approximate that as close as possible. You know, when I first started doing the voice, I was terrible. I was like, it was awful, but I didn't fear the failure. And so I just like, I'll just keep trying, you know. And then when I went for the audition, they bolt you together, you know, and then they turn on the sound system and flip on the lights. And I said, my goodness, why hello, I am C-3PO, human cyborg relations. How might I be of service? And they said, well, we're going to fly you to Australia and you're going to do a commercial. And I was like, this is the greatest day of my life. But I didn't know that was going to be the beginning of 20 years of flying all over the world and working with Anthony Daniels. You know, he's been so lovely to me. But anyway, yeah, it was what did I bring to it? All I wanted to do was bring as close as I could get. And you know, you're never going to be 101%. You get as close as you can. So anyway, that was it. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. What is your name?
My name is Matthew.
And Matthew, what is your question?
Firstly, solid C-3PO. Like, wow.
Thank you.
I got a question for both of you guys. What's your favorite moment in like all of Star Wars? So like, it could be like really cool, like Ahsoka doing all these backflips on her way down to Mandalore, or like emotional, like 90% of Revenge of the Sith. What is your favorite moment? Yes, it's really emotional. I don't want Anakin to be Vader.
What's your favorite, Matthew?
I feel like you want to tell us your favorite.
Even though Revenge of the Sith is really emotional, I can't take anything seriously. So as soon as Palpatine starts talking about the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise, I crack up. That's my favorite moment.
Okay.
So favorite or most emotional?
You pick.
Oh.
The emotion might be, I can't believe I'm laughing at this. This is ridiculous.
Right. I don't know. I was 10 years old when Empire Strikes Back came out. So I'm in 4th grade. I go to school after watching Vader say, no, I am your father. And I was like, he's lying. That's not true. He's a bad guy. He's not going to tell the truth. So I'm telling all my friends at school, I'm like, no, that's not right. He's not his father. You know, Luke shouldn't believe him. And so it was really like, it was so such a core, you know, like what's true, what's real, you know. Everything I believed is crashing around me. That was one.
Oh my God, I love the fact that you can actually pick.
Right, I know.
I'm like racking my brain. I don't know. Like, I legitimately don't know.
What's maybe your favorite moment with Bo-Katan? Can you pick that?
No.
Okay.
No, I just like everything.
Yeah, favorites are hard questions.
I get that.
No.
The answer is
pass.
Okay. That's a
Thank
good
you.
answer.
Thanks, Matthew.
Thank you.
All right, this is going to be our final question of our session together. I know, right? They should give us more time, but they don't. What's your name?
My name's Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Katee, I was curious with Battlestar Galactica being such a phenomenon of a show, bringing in, fans outside of Sci-Fi. Was there a moment or that hit you that this is something special that we're making?
So you know what's funny about Battlestar, because we started filming when social media didn't exist. I mean, people didn't have computers in their phones. We just had these like phones. You know what I mean? Like if you wanted to know what people were saying in a chat group, you had to go down and like buy time at the internet cafe. So we didn't have to deal with that pressure. We didn't know what the outside opinion was, not really. You know, like fan mail would come in the mail. Like, and so, you know, like as we started getting more of it, you started going, oh, people are watching the show, and then bags of it, and you're like, oh God, like okay. Eddie almost set us down at the very beginning. He had all of us come in, and he said, this will be the best work you ever do in your entire life. It will never get better than this. I'm sorry, but it won't. I've read this script. I've been around a really long time. This is as good as it gets. And we were all like, sure thing, old man.
Clearly, he's not dealing with violent decompressions.
Clearly, you don't understand that I am only 22 years old. I got a lot of life left. He was right. And that's not to take away from anything else, because it's just not. Battlestar Galactica, the scripts, the time in which it was created, there was something very lightning in a bottle of that show that made it what it was. Every single actor was brilliantly cast. And you had Eddie and Mary leading us, who were phenomenal stewards of life and this industry and how to be a professional on set. Ron Moore, who is a genius, like Michael Reimer, who didn't care if we shot 22-hour days. We were going to get through it and make it exactly perfect. Like that stuff doesn't happen anymore. So Eddie knew from the very beginning. I don't think we realized until the very end, to be honest. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Have you guys had a good time this last hour? Again, I know I have to keep things on time, so the questions we didn't get to, the questions you guys have that just come to you as you're wandering the floor, be sure and stop by and see them at their tables. The photos, autographs, if you've not had a chance to do that yet, they will be there to meet you and greet you and take care of all of that there. Let's give one more big round of applause for our guests. Katee Sackhoff, Chris Bartlett.
We appreciate you so much for watching.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. We will see you on the floor, or if you stick around, we'll get started with our next panel at the top of the hour. Thank you, guys.
Bye. Have a good con,
Bye.
everyone.